The year is 2017. Austin Matthews erupts into the NHL with a 40-goal rookie season.
He gets free, shoots, scores! Puck out in front, Matthews scores! A hat-trick!
After a freak accident, leading to McDavid's rookie season being cut short,
Here's McDavid with a shot up high. Northern makes the save.
McDavid would come back with vengeance.
McDavid stops up. What a move. Shoots, scores!
Where he would become the second youngest MVP behind Crosby and Gretzky. This year was monumental. It was the first season since the introduction of Crosby and Ovechkin where it became clear as day that these two legends did not have to carry the league anymore. No, it was changing and fast. For some perspective, if we compare the top 10 scorers from 2017 to the top 10 of 2012, there is zero overlap. If we then compare the current scoring race with the top 10 of 2020, there are 6 players who overlap. Prior dynasties were beginning to fall apart, and new ones were emerging.
Here's a drive. They score! Kucherov! A hat trick for Nikita Kucherov!
Now, it may be hard to believe, but what if I were to tell you that back in 2017, the Colorado Avalanche were hands down the biggest disaster in the NHL. They made the Buffalo Sabres and Ottawa Senators look like super teams. But more crucially, this was a turning point for Nathan Mackinnon. So I would run the numbers on him from that season up until today, where I would discover something shocking. Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. So far this season, we have witnessed some of the most entertaining and chaotic hockey I have ever seen, so there's no better time to pick up some tickets from SeatGeek. SeatGeek also makes it easy to find the best tickets for your budget. Green means you're getting a good deal. Red, well, not so much, as I make it a goal of mine to watch McDavid at least once per year, as I feel like I'm a part of hockey history watching this man skate laps in person, and I can find tickets to see McDavid for as low as $42. But maybe I want to splurge to sit in the lower bowl? There are tickets in the Oilers Attack Zone for $129. So whether you want to find tickets for sports, concerts, festivals, even if you've used SeatGeek in the past, if you click the link down below and download the SeatGeek app, you'll receive 10% off your order. This offer is only available for a limited time. Thank you so much to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. Even with Nathan Mackinnon, Landeskog, rookie Mikko Rantanen, this team was bad. And I mean bad, as this season would culminate to one of the most atrocious performances in franchise history.
Two, hands it away, Pacioretty steps in, ready, set, score! Opening period, and Montreal with a 4-0 lead. Will this be fun? Yes, sir! Stepping up, looks towards the front, centers it in front! And a couple of jabs, scores! Mitchell!
Colorado went from, yeah, we're not doing that great, but if we rally back, we can squeeze into the playoffs, to getting lit up so badly by the Montreal Canadiens that, and I kid you not, they would go on to lose 19 of their next 21 games, as this game would demoralize the entire franchise, leading to one of the worst stretches in NHL history. A 21-game stretch that can only be compared to the 2021 Buffalo Sabres, and it would end with one of the worst seasons in NHL history. That is outside of expansion teams. I mean, just the fact that the only teams who have been this bad were literal minor league teams, as they were drafted through the expansion draft, should say enough, as they would win 22 games this season. 22. For some perspective, at the end of the 2023 season, here are the Chicago Blackhawks' top players. We have Andreas Athanasiou, Taylor Radish, and Tyler Johnson. This was the season that they went all in for Connor Bedard. This team would end up with 26 wins. They somehow squeaked out more wins than a team led by Nathan Mackinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen, and Matt Duchene. But okay, maybe they just lost a lot of close games. Actually no, they were getting dominated. On this graphic, we have each NHL team's goals for and goals against per 60. To put it simply, if you're in the upper right box, you are not only dominating offensively, but you're shutting down the other teams. If you're in the bottom left, it means that not only are you getting lit up every game, but you're unable to score. Okay, so a team like Arizona was pretty bad this season, and right here is where Colorado ranked. Remember how in my last video, also go check it out if you haven't already, it was my favorite video that I've ever made, but I would show how Quinn Hughes was above and beyond every other defenseman in a similar stat. This entire Colorado team was basically the anti-Quinn Hughes. This wasn't just a defense issue or goaltending. The issues in this team were rooted in every single position. opposition, as this season would not only mark the turning of a tide for the entire NHL, it was the turning point for the entire Avalanche franchise. Think about the optics here. Nathan Mackinnon is hands down the most competitive player in the league.
Playoffs! What a debut! He doesn't get it. He's incensed. And as he goes to the bench, he has Kinnon on it. He's on his horse, powering through the speed burst. One stick handling. My goodness, what a goal from Nathan Mackinnon!
Watch him on a nightly basis and you'll see exactly what I'm saying. The Avalanche were so bad this season that it broke him. It broke this man mentally, which would lead to many fans thinking that this man was a bust, or at the very least, a massive disappointment considering his pedigree. However, this is the season where Mackinnon hit his breaking point, where he would realize that his only option was going to a sports psychologist. Before this crucial point, Mackinnon was so hard on himself that it paralyzed him. It single-handedly prevented him from seeing growth. But with a team of sports psychologists, Mackinnon learned how to turn that anger and emotion into 93-octane energy, because when you consider that he already had one of the biggest engines in the game, the most explosive skating I have ever seen.
He blew by him. Score! To the right, poked ahead, picked up. There's a breakaway chance. McKinnon. Score! What a goal!
This season would unlock a monster.
With speed going to the net. Oh, what a goal by Nathan Mackinnon!
Think about the optics here. It is not a coincidence that Mackinnon went from being a 50-point player to learning how to deal with his frustration, where he has now been an MVP candidate for 6 years in a row. He went from being called a massive disappointment to being so pissed off that he just had one of the greatest seasons in NHL history. And of course, he would take home the MVP. So he would nearly triple his production from a season rooted for Montreal scoring on him 10 times. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Because, and get this, to show you the extent of McKinnon's rage, this season, the Avalanche have been brutal. Yeah, I get they've had injury issues and depth issues, AHL goaltenders, but this team still has 3 MVP candidates, the scoring leader and the reigning MVP. So the fact that they're still a bubble team is a massive letdown. And considering what we know about MacKinnon, he's without a doubt losing his mind. So basically, angry MacKinnon is a very good and scary MacKinnon, because within the 30 games this season, he's been held pointless 6 times. Not only pointless, but in some games shotless, where he would get shut down by the other team for the entire game. So to wrap the idea of his anger leading to an explosion in production into a nice little bow, after being held pointless, MacKinnon has scored 19 points in 6 games. 19 points. That's a 3.167 points per game average. In 82 games, this is a 260 point pace. So when you piss off the reigning MVP of the league, he's scoring at a rate that far surpasses Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. In fact, it's not even close. It's truly his superpower and what makes him so good. And this past week, MacKinnon would be shut down by the Devils. He was nearly invincible with 0 points, 0 hits, 0 blocks, and even plus minus. But what do you know? His next matchup was against Sidney Crosby and the Penguins. So the perfect concoction of being pissed off from the prior game and the emotional boost from facing off against your best friend and idol. And well, when MacKinnon is angry, the number one thing you notice is that his skating gets elevated. Again, he's converting that anger and frustration into energy, and so he is far more likely to carry the puck end to end, where he tries to outpower the opposition. On this play, after getting hemmed in his own zone, a scramble ensues at the blue line. The Penguins defenseman, although caught in a transition, is still ahead of MacKinnon and has the ability to recover. But remember how I said that when MacKinnon's mad, his engine goes into overdrive?
Look out, MacKinnon's got to step on Grizzly. Nathan Mackinnon scores!
MacKinnon outspeeds and outmuscles both defenders, where he walks in and rips it straight through the goalie's arm. MacKinnon builds up so much speed that it causes Ryan Greaves to have a panic attack. He doesn't even know what to do besides lie down and try to take away the passing lane, because just like McDavid, MacKinnon's speed is so suffocating that it takes away the defender's chance to even process what is happening. On this next play, MacKinnon picks up the puck in the defensive zone. He then looks up and notices that Greaves has his hips turned at center ice. Instead of passing the puck to his wing winger, which is what many players would do in this situation to force a guaranteed 2-on-1. Mackinnon is mad and decides to split the defenders with his speed, where he loses it. But then we witness a trait that all great players experience: gravity. Because the defenders know that they are up against Nathan Mackinnon, they then feel pressured to both collapse on him in the corner, where they ideally stop the play dead in its tracks. Mackinnon reverses the puck.
Back around for Rantanen in front. Mackinnon scores.
And because he draws so much attention, Mackinnon is left wide open. In this game, Mackinnon went from being shut down the night prior to putting up 5 points against Sidney Crosby and the Penguins. So unless you pull off a defensive masterclass, he's gonna score at a rate that surpasses the greatest players in NHL history. I'd really appreciate ya if you could leave a like on this video. A big shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. Click my link down below and use code RobTalksHockey10 to receive 10% off your next order. And as always, thanks for watching.